Okay, I want to bring this meeting to order. Good morning, members of the MAG Transportation Safety Committee. Okay, I'll start again. Good morning, members of the MAG Transportation Safety Committee. The meeting is now called to order. Before we get to today's business, I would like to welcome a new member to the committee. We are pleased to have the new Chief Executive Officer of the Governor's Office of Safety Highway, Jesse Torres. Welcome, and please feel free to unmute your mic and address the committee members if you choose to do so.
How do you do? My name is Jesse Torres, and as of yesterday, I was actually the director, but now all directors for state agencies are chief executive officers for the state of Arizona per Governor Hobbs. So we're all going to be doing the same thing. We have the same powers, and I'm also still the signer for the governor's office. If you, I'm glad to be here. I so appreciate the invitation. I hope to be involved with MAG and make sure that GOHS in the state of Arizona is represented. Thank you so much.
Excellent, thank you. Now back to our agenda. For those around the table, please turn on your microphone when speaking. For those participating via Zoom, please state your name when making a comment or asking a question. The MAG public comment process allows members of the public to comment on items on today's agenda or on items that fall under MAG's jurisdiction. If you would like to comment on today's meeting, please fill out a request to speak card located at the counter to the right as you enter the room, and give it to the MAG staff. If you're parked in the garage, parking validators are also available on the counter. If you purchase a transit ticket to come to the meeting, please see staff for a ticket. We will now begin the meeting with a roll call of all members. Mohammed?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair, member of the Transportation Safety Committee. This is a roll call for quorum for the members of the Transportation Safety Committee. Please indicate your presence when I call your name. Shane Kieso from City of Apache Junction. Sergeant Craig Martin from Arizona Department of Public Safety.
I'm here, thank you.
Mona Aglangsweek as proxy for Kerry Wilcoxon from Arizona Department of Transportation. Raj Thoram from City of Avondale.
President, thank you.
John Willett from City of Buckeye. Raymond Huang from City of Chandler.
President, good morning.
Nick Russo from City of El Mirage.
I'm here. Good morning.
Glenn Robinson from Federal Highway Administration.
Good morning. I'm here.
Christopher Salas from Town of Florence.
This is Brian Turcott representing the Town of Florence.
Thank you. Aaron Pinkerton from Town of Gilbert.
President, good morning.
Tony Abbo from City of Glendale.
Present.
Hugh Biak from City of Goodyear. Jesse Torres from Governor's Office of Highway Safety.
Present.
Kate Trunaski from City of Litchfield Park.
Present.
Carrie Osborne from City of Maricopa.
Present.
Mazen Muradovich from Maricopa County Department of Transportation.
Present.
Stefan Bach from City of Mesa. Austin Kennedy as proxy for Brandon Forey from City of Peoria.
Present.
Carl Langford from City of Phoenix.
Present.
Tara Harman from Pinal County Public Works.
This is Steve Abraham. I'm filling in for Tara from Pinal County.
Jan Martin from Town of Queen Creek.
Present. Good morning.
Sam Taylor from City of Scottsdale.
Present.
Jonathan Fuchs as proxy for Dana Oziani from City of Surprise.
Present.
Michelle Beckley from City of Tempe.
Present.
Alice Aran from University of Arizona.
Present.
Adrian Ruiz from Valley Metro. That concludes the roll call for quorum, Mr. Chair, and the quorum has been established. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed. Our next item is a call to the audience. This is an opportunity for the public to comment that will fall under MAG's jurisdiction that are not on the agenda or that are on the agenda for discussion and not for action. 15 minutes will be provided for call to the audience agenda item unless the chair requested exception to this limit. I have received 0 requests to speak cards for the call to the audience. Is that the case? Okay. So we will move on. MAG also provides the opportunity for members of the public to submit written comments via MAG's website. On June 9th, 2023, changes were made to the process for accepting and sharing written comments from members of the public not attending in person. Any comments received 2 hours prior to the meeting have been shared with the committee members in advance of the meeting for consideration and will be included in the formal meeting minutes. Staff, have we received any online written comments for the call to audience?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. We have not received any written comments for the call to the audience.
Thank you, Mohammed. We'll move to section 3 of the agenda. Ms. Herrera will provide a report on items of general interest to the Transportation Safety Committee.
Good morning, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the Transportation Safety Committee. Glad to see we have a couple of new members. Very excited to have you both here. I have a couple of items today and I'm going to try to move through those rather quickly. Next slide, please. Actually, I'm going to invite Chris Gottsacker to just give a really brief breakdown of our regional crossing guard training for this year.
Thank you, Margaret, Vice Chair and members of the Transportation Safety Committee. This year, we were pleased to have 3 in-person crossing guard training workshops. This was the first year since COVID that we've been able to do 3 in-person workshops. Last year, we had 1 in person and the previous years we were all virtual. So it was great to get out there throughout the Valley in order to train new crossing guards. We trained about 200 guards in person and many more will watch our materials online. They learn about crossing guard procedures, how to take care of themselves and others for heat relief, and also about traffic laws that concern crosswalks. This is a very collaborative effort. It cannot happen without the coordination between multiple member agencies and MAG. Within MAG, it takes transportation safety, communications, ITS or IT help, and our member agencies that lended staff time were Peoria, Glendale, Surprise, Scottsdale, Tempe, and Phoenix. So thank you all for your help in making these workshops a success this year.
And I guess I just wanted to add as a heads up that the planning group, along with Chris, is going to start looking at the Guardians of the Future video. That's the video that's shown at each one of these workshops. We're going to be refurbishing that. There's some terminology in there that's a little outdated. So we're going to be redoing that video that we show at the crossing guard training. So if you'd like to be involved in that, get with Chris and we can do that. We'll get started on that here in the next couple of months. Thanks, Chris. Next slide, please. So just some brief updates on our fiscal year 2020. It should say 2023 and 2024. My apologies. Project updates. We should be done with some of those. The predictive safety project is Mohammed's manage. And Mohammed, if you want to give a brief update on that project.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Margaret, Mr. Chair, and member of the Transportation Safety Committee. So for the predictive safety project, we are going ahead with the ACES access for our Yukon project team, and also we are actually evaluating the roadway characteristics information or inventory data RCI from ADOT to review with the Yukon project team to make them better familiarize with the data and help them to come up with a way so that they can best use the data and process it for our effort to map all the crash data and the roadway information data for the arterial, and arterial collector intersections. So going forward, we will be actually moving to get the latest update from the ADOT or refresh from the ADOT for the RCI data, which is going to be provided to us as of this morning by early to mid-October. Once we get that data, we should be able to move forward with the new data and process it for our next task. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed. The next project is the Regional Priority Safety Implementation Toolkit. That is the project that we're working on with Burgess and Nyepel to provide a toolkit that can easily outline some safety improvements that can be included in any project. So we had a second tag meeting about last month. We are doing some outreach right now to the tag members to get a little bit more feedback on the sketch platform that the consultant has put together thus far. Once we get that input, we're going to be moving forward with some real, on the grounds work with that platform. And I'm hoping that the consultant will be able to give us kind of a little bit more comprehensive update on where they are at the January 2024 meeting. The bike and ped near miss analysis projects. Mohammed, do you want to give a brief update on that?
Thank you, Margaret, Mr. Chair, and member of the Transportation Safety Committee. So basically, we have completed the project right now. We reviewed the draft report and gathering feedbacks from our stakeholders. So one of the projects already almost completed, and another one is draft report under review, and the task orders for these projects expire by the end of September. So we are on track to get this project finished and get the final report to be distributed to the stakeholders. That includes City of Phoenix, City of Mesa, City of Tempe, and Valley Metro. Thank you, Margaret. Sure. Thank you, Margaret, Mr. Chair, and member of the Transportation Safety Committee. For the FY 2023 Safe Routes to School Studies, we have Town of Fountain Hills project, which are basically nearing completion. We do have the draft report reviewed, and we do have the draft report distributed to the town and to be distributed to the school administrators and the district staff for their review. So we are eyeing for a comment resolution meeting early October. So once we have that meeting, we are planning to wrap the projects and get the report finalized. And that those task orders also expires by the end of October. So we should be in good shape to complete those projects by the end of October. Thank you, Margaret.
Great. Thank you, Mohammed. So the local agency safety studies, there's one remaining for the city of Buckeye that needs to be completed. Data needed to be collected. Again, we wanted to wait until the school year started, so that should be moving forward at a pretty good clip as well. So as you notice here, I have the marker for the safety data new year. We did receive our data from ADOT in mid to late August, and that prompts generation of the new top 100 list of intersections ranked by crash risk. Mohammed is currently working on that. He may be giving some of you a call if you have an intersection on that list, just to kind of do some QA/QC with you on that. And that will be on the November agenda as well for your review, for the committee's review. We do have a handful of 2024 Safe Routes to School studies. Some of them have been kicked off, had some kickoff meetings. I think all but maybe one have notice to proceed. So those should be, the deadline for those to be done is June 30th of 2024. So work continues on the Safe Routes to School studies. And then finally, for CME AZ, we have a new contract for the media consultant. So that's one element of CME AZ. We are actually going through some data that was collected from the media consultant for the fiscal year 2021 through 2023 program. Chris and Mike Kuzel are working on developing that report, and that will also be on the November committee agenda. Some items that are coming up with CME AZ, Chris will be delivering that report that he's developing to the CME AZ task force for their review prior to it coming to this committee. And then just to mention, we are continuing to work with the Federal Highway Administration Focused Approach to Safety on developing, number one, a strategic plan for CME AZ, which will ultimately provide us a framework for doing some more in-depth evaluation of that program. And I believe that is it for our project updates. Next slide, please. Thank you, Mohammed. So the next item is the Safe Roads and Streets for All Peer Coordination Group. This was at the request of about 9 different member agencies that approached us and asked us to convene this coordination group. I sent out a survey last month. I want to thank those of you who addressed the survey and provided your input. So we have, based on input from the survey, we will be holding those meetings bi-monthly on either a Monday or Wednesday, whatever works out best, and probably towards the end of a month. Next slide, please. The time of day that was chosen was morning. It seemed to be a lot more popular to hold it in the morning than in the afternoon. And then the length, of course, probably be about an hour at first. And this is I just want to clarify that this is a very informal coordination group, and we can change, we can, have an hour and a half if we feel like we need to. So it kind of depends on how often we meet, as well as the agenda items that we want to address during any given meeting. Next slide, please. So most importantly, some of the items that we had suggested for topics for discussion of this group, we had survey respondents rate 1 through 5 according to their level of interest. So if you look at this, the highest would be the application development. And I believe for the first meeting, we're looking at October 30th to hold that first coordination group meeting. Since there's no NOFO or no call for projects open right now, we may push off the application development discussion for a later time. But you can see the second highest was application of the MAG Strategic Transportation Safety Plan. So that's basically how can we leverage the many safety action plans that are going to be developed to really help safety region-wide, right? And be not just consistent with, but also help support the MAG Strategic Transportation Safety Plan. So those are a couple of items that we'll be discussing at first. I guess my plan for the first meeting is really to go through all of these items of discussion and just kind of get a feel on what we want to tackle first. We may also be inviting those of you who indicated that you would be interested in presenting a discussion item. We have some agencies that have some good experience now with the SS4A grant awards and filling out of application and things like that. So we may have some of the members themselves kind of lead the discussion. So I believe that is the last one for the SS4A. Next slide, please. Yes. Okay. So the next item is just to make everybody aware that the chair term ends on December 30th of this year. At that time, Tony Abo, our vice chair, will ascend to the chair position for the January meeting. We sent out a request for letters of interest to all of you. And those letters of interest are due by October 25th. And that will be for the term, the chair term will then be from January 2024 through December 2025. So if you did not receive that, let me know. If you're interested, please get your nomination letters in. Next slide, please. And I believe this is the last one. We typically hold a roadway safety program workshop once we have a new list of on-call consultants. We like to train them on the processes for a MAG roadway safety assessment. We have made some changes, hopefully for the better, in our processes for the roadway safety assessment. So we'll be going through those as well. We've been incorporating the safe system approach in our processes. So we want to really go through what that means as it relates to the the roadway safety assessments. This will be facilitated by our MAG safety program associate Mike Kuzel, and we're looking at holding that in January after the TSC meeting. So look for more information on that. So we would invite obviously all the new on-call consultant teams will be required to attend that. And then we would invite any of you who have had a MAG road safety assessment conducted in the last 3 or 4 years to attend as well. And then of course, if you are thinking about having a road safety assessment done, you would also be welcome to attend, but really anybody's welcome to attend. I believe that's the last item on my program manager's report, Mr. Vice Chair.
Thank you, Margaret. Please contact Ms. Herrera after the meeting if you have any questions regarding her report. We'll move on to item number 4 on the agenda, and that's the approval of the minutes for the Transportation Safety Committee meeting held on July 25th, 2023. Does any member of the Transportation Safety Committee have comments or revisions to the July 25th, 2023 meeting minutes? Okay, I hear none. I have received 0 requests to speak cards for approval for the July 25th, 2023 meeting. Staff, have we received any online written comments for the meeting minutes?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. We have not received any written comments for the minutes.
Okay, thank you, Mohammed. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the July 25th, 2023 Transportation Safety Committee meeting?
Mr. Chair, this is Sam Taylor with City of Scottsdale. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as they are presented.
Okay. Do I have a second?
This is Raymond Fong with City of Chandler. I second that.
Okay. So we have a motion from Sam Taylor and a second from Glenn Robinson. Oh, What was that? Raymond. Oh, Raymond from Chandler. Okay, sorry about that. We will, okay. We will have those participating in the meeting online now take part in the voice vote by turning on their cameras and unmuting their audio. We need to see the faces of everyone participating in the voice vote. This will speed up the voting process. For those that cannot or do not want to turn on the camera, staff will conduct a roll call. Staff will only call those on those virtual participants who did not turn on the cameras. I want to stress, members, please leave your camera on until after the roll call vote, so the staff can count the people's names whose cameras are not on. Can I have a voice vote of those in the room and those online? Those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed say nay. Okay, Mohammed, can you take a roll call of the members participating virtually who did not turn on their cameras?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. This is a roll call vote of the members participating virtually who did not turn on their cameras. Carrie Osborne.
Aye.
Mona Aglam Sweet as proxy for Kerry Wilcoxon from ADOT.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you.
How do you vote, Mona?
Sorry, aye.
Thank you. Raj Thoram from City of Avondale.
Aye.
And Stefan Bach from City of Mesa. And that concludes the roll call vote for the minutes for members not participating virtually but did not turn their cameras on, Mr. Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mohammed. Now we'll move on to item 5, ADOT safety performance projections. Item 5 will be presented by ADOT Safety Program Manager Mona Aglan Swick. This item is on the agenda for information and discussion. Mona, go ahead and take.
Okay, I'm here. I'm waiting for the slides. Okay, there you go. Okay,
Mona,
good.
When you're done with the slide, to let Mohammed know to advance.
Okay, sounds good. Good morning. Thank you for inviting me today to present on the 2024 Arizona Safety Performance Projections. The Federal Highway Administration's Safety Performance Management Final Rule requires states to set safety performance targets in the HSIP annual report by August 31st and submit that to Federal Highway. And by July 1st, submitted by the Governor's Office of Highway Safety to NHTSA in the Highway Safety Plan. Next slide, please. I'm going to give you just a quick summary and comparison between the 2021 and the 2022. The 2022 fatalities increased by 10.14% as compared to the 2021 fatalities. The 2022 serious injuries decreased by 2% as compared to 2021. Non-motorized fatalities and serious injuries increased by 9.94% as compared to 2021. And in 2023, fatalities count as of September 18th was 825. And the fatality count in 2022, the same as of end of September, was 933. 2023 and 2024 numbers and rates are based on the 5-year crash trend, 2018 all the way through 2022. The statewide VMT for 23 and 24 are based on the 5-year average change, and it's an estimated of an increase of 1.6%. The statewide VMT and crash data for the calendar year 2022 are subject to change. They're not complete yet. I had to update the safety performance projections several times, starting from May to June, July, and August, because the numbers continue to change. Next slide, please. The performance measures are based on 5-year rolling average and includes the following 5 performance measures: the number of fatalities, the rate of fatalities per 100 million VMT, the number of serious injuries, the rate of serious injuries, and the number of non-motorized fatalities and serious injuries. Next slide. Oh, wait, no, Max, sorry. On the screen, you see in the blue, the 2020 to 2024 projections. That column, the blue column here, this is the numbers for the 2024 safety projections that we submit in the HSIB annual report and to the highway safety plan in the report. And we did already submit the numbers to Federal Highway, and Federal Highway currently reviewing the HSIB annual report. Next slide, please. Okay, the number of fatalities, when we reviewed the 5-year 2018 to 2022, we noticed that the projections for the numbers in 2023 fatalities to increase by 6%, and the numbers of fatalities in 2024 to increase by also 6%. Next slide, please. On the fatality rate, we projected that we will have an increase in fatality rate by 3% in the year 2023 and an increase of 3% in the 2024. Next slide. Thank you. For the number of serious injuries, we projected a decrease in the number of serious injuries by 1% in the year 2023 and in the year 2024. And the next slide, please. On the rate of serious injuries, we project that there will be a decrease of 2% in both 2023 and 2024, a decrease in 2% in the rate of serious injuries. Next slide, please. On the number of non-motorized fatalities and serious injuries for the 2023 and 2024, we projected that there will be an increase in the number of fatalities and serious injuries. An increase of 3%. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so MPOs that choose to set separate projections, they must report their VMT estimate and what methodology they have used to develop their estimate. and they should maximize the use of the highway performance monitoring system. And the projections are reported to ADOT, and we made it available to Federal Highway. MPOs has 180 days after the state establish the projections, which is 130 days after August 31st. That will be sometime February next year, 27th. And the MPO's projections are not included in the assessment of whether the state met or made a significant progress towards meeting its projections. Next slide, please. We, ADOT, recommend adopting the state safety performance projections. Next slide. We did an overview to see the progress on the 2022 projections that we have established 2 years ago. And according to the numbers that we have been getting for the calendar year 2022, it does look like that we will not meet the targets. We have not met the targets. We have not met the projections for the 2021. And we anticipate that the same is going to happen for the projections that we set for 2022. Next slides, please. What is required if the state did not meet or make a significant progress towards meeting the projections? We are required to use obligation authority equal to the HSIP apportionments for the year prior to the targets, only for HSIP projects. HSIP apportionments was in the federal year 2021 and was about 44 million. And we are required to submit an HSIP implementation plan that describes actions the state will take to meet or make significant progress towards meeting the safety performance. The HSIP implementation plan this year was due to Federal Highway in end of June, and we have submitted that, and it's still under review with Federal Highway. Next slide, please. There is some resources available. The 2022 crash facts is available online. And also you can go to the Safety Performance Management website with Federal Highway and check out the projections that we have established for previous years. You can also look at what's available from other states. Next slide. This slide's just to provide you with just some information on the roundup on the numbers. We had to follow a specific roundup for the annual numbers versus the 5-year rolling average versus the rates. Next slide, please. That's all what I have. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mona. Thank you, Mona. Do any members have questions or comments?
Jesse Torres with GOHS. Mona, I was in a meeting last week or week before where I was told that the stats for 2022 haven't even completed for fatality accidents this year. I was given two numbers, one in the 1200s and the other one about 3 weeks later was in the 1300s, and told that 2022 fatality accident stats are not even tabulated yet. Was that incorrect?
Yes, that is correct. I had to change my analysis several times. It's really difficult because the there is the highway safety plan is due July 1st, and crash data is not complete by that time. And again, the HSIP annual report is due the end of August, and also the numbers are not complete for the crash data. It continue to change, and I had to change my numbers in May, and I did it 3 times in June, 2 times in July, and I had to finalize the numbers for the HSIP annual report, and I did it again in August. That is correct. So if you look at the numbers that I have, the annual number of fatalities or serious injuries, you will go back to the 2022 crash facts, and you will see that the numbers have changed. So for example, the slide that shows the number of fatalities, I am showing the annual number for 2022, 1,314. But in the crash facts, the number for fatalities was 1,294. So yes, they continue to change, and they're not final yet.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any other questions for Mona? Okay, thank you. I have received 0 requests to speak cards for agenda item number 5. Staff, have we received any online written comments for agenda item number 5?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. We have not received any written comments for this agenda item.
Thank you, Mohammed. Moving on to item number 6, MAG 2023 Roadway Safety Program RSP Annual Report. Item number 6 will be presented by MAG Transportation Safety and Operations Program Manager, Margaret Herrera. This item is on the agenda for information and discussion. Margaret.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the Transportation Safety Committee. I'm pleased to report to you our annual report for the MAG Roadway Safety Program. Next slide, please, Mohammed. So just a little bit of a background. I know we have a lot of new committee members. This was a program that was initiated by MAG in collaboration with ADOT to provide some additional safety funds for short-term immediate needs to improve safety conditions of roadways region-wide. We had some STBG funds that were that we had available to us that we put into a program. In the beginning, it was 10 million. I think we ended up projecting 11 million that could be spent. And what we did was we created this 5-year program, this 5-year pilot program to fund some of those safety projects. We set aside about $2 million a year to program. And as you can see here, we ended up by the end of the 5-year programming, we had 32 projects and 11 agencies that were programmed for 2020 through 2024 for a total of about $10.6 million. Next slide, please. So just to give you an update on the project completion, you can see on the left-hand side, the fiscal year programs. And as you can see for 2020, those are almost 100% complete. I believe there's just one project that needs to be completed in the city of Glendale. For 2021, again, some of those, couple of those projects need to be completed. Same thing with 2022. For 2023, you see the executed what we call a joint agency agreement that MAG enters with the local agency or the lead agency for these projects to identify, what the responsibilities of the local agency are and what MAG's part in this, and some deadlines as well as to when projects need to be completed. We have one joint agency agreement that still needs to be executed in the town of Queen Creek for 2023. But other than that, you can see the design and construction phases are still underway as well on those. For 2024, we have 100% executed joint agency agreements, and you can see the design on those projects are about half complete. And of course, construction is not yet started on those. On the right-hand side, just some quick, I guess, fun facts. One of the most funded projects that we received, these were kind of the top as I saw the amount of projects in each one of these categories. We had 7 related to signal visibility, 7 related to Hawks or enhanced crossings, and then 5 for each left turn visibility and lighting as well. Next slide, please. So for the financials, and this is a little bit more detail on what I provided on the very first slide, you can see again that we had put aside about $2 million each year for a $10 million total. That funding was increased due to some additional funding that the MAG region received. Some future funding on that was advanced to 2020 and 2021 to accommodate the demand that we had. And this resulted in a lower amount for programming, as you can see here, for 2023 and 2024. Next slide, please. So probably the most important part of the annual report is the safety performance reporting for the different projects. So keeping in mind that not all projects are at the same place or at the same status for completion as far as construction is concerned. Also, in years past, we didn't have a lot of detail as to when these projects started construction to be able to pull the data for the before. So in previous years, we were just reporting or we were just utilizing the information that was provided on the original application when the lead agency submitted that application. Now we have more detail as to when they actually went to construction. So we took the date that the agency reported as the pre-construction meeting, and we pulled 5 years of data prior to that to come up with the before data. And then in addition to that, the after data, again, not all of them are on the same in the same place and have had construction and the years after that. So, you know, some of them were completed in 2020, some were completed in 2021, and the available data from the date at which the lead agency indicated that the facility was back open for traffic was the date that we took. So some of them only had 1 year, 1 full year of data from that date that was reported to us, and some had 2. I believe there are 3 projects that had the 3 years of data. 3 projects, I'm sorry, that had 2 years of data included in the analysis for the after. So another thing that I wanted to do this year is really focus on countermeasures and safety improvement types. So you can see this top section here. Those 3 safety improvements were installed all at one location. So these were the Apache Junction project, where they put some channelization in for a right turn, included some stop signs and markings, and replace their stop sign with a flashing LED stop. So you can see there that the before we reported serious injuries, possible injuries for the advanced stop and marking signs. And again, this is based on the crash modification factor is documented to addressing certain crash types and severities. So the before for the physical channelization was serious, and the 1 year of data afterwards only showed possible injury crashes. So showing that that's moving in the right direction. On some of these, you'll see that we have an asterisk or a dash The asterisk just means that there's really insufficient data for comparison. So if we took the average 5 years from the before, and if you only have 1 year of data after, it's really hard to compare a 0.32 to a 0.3, right? It's just not, it doesn't compare very well. So we'd like to have a little bit more data to show a difference in the change in number of crashes for those. But for the most part, you can see the change in total number of crashes is going down for at least this set. The next set you can see we combined together just to kind of show how the flashing yellow arrows might be performing region-wide. These are 3 different locations. Actually, the first and the second one are both in the city of El Mirage. They ended up just installing the flashing yellow arrow on one approach on one of those. And then the second one was kind of a town-wide protective permissive to flashing yellow arrow. And then the last one was an installation at a different agency. So just to kind of show, we're having some possible injury crashes before on the left turn. And then after, there were no crashes of any severity for that particular location in El Mirage. And then for the second item there, this was done on 2 or more approaches, or one or more approaches. We had serious, minor, and possible injuries, and now all we're seeing is minor and possible injury crashes. So again, that's moving in the right direction as far as the data that we have shows. Next slide, please. So this is just kind of a continuation. The installed traffic signal is in the city of Glendale. So you can see as well that they reporting fatal, minor, and possible injury crashes before, and now we are seeing crashes, but the severity is much lower. Improved left turn sight visibility. As far as the severity themselves, those seem to be consistent. However, the number of those crashes is going down based on the data that we have. So the last 3 are 2 unique, not only in the type of improvement, but also in where they were installed, different agencies. The cable median barrier, again, that was on the Northern Parkway in Glendale. And I think one of the caveats to that Glendale one, and Tony, you can chime in if you have any additional information, but the time that this application was put in and the improvement was put in, from that point, the actual volume of vehicles that are using that facility is going up considerably. So unless you have anything else you wanted to add to that, Tony?
No, and you are correct about that. The traffic is going up, but the number of hits that we've had on the cable barrier is quite a bit. So when I look at it, those are potential head-ons that could have been avoided, or at least, kept the vehicles going, through the median, or even worse, to the approaching side or the opposite side. So, while I don't like to maintain it, to be honest with everybody, it served its purpose because it's definitely prevented any head-ons.
Great, thank you, Tony. Okay, replace 8-inch red signal heads with 12-inch. You can see again that we're seeing no serious injury crashes there, just minor and possible. Even though the total number of crashes of any type or any severity have gone slightly up. The severities of those are much lower. And then it looks like install enhanced crossing, which was the Hawk in Scottsdale. No crashes of the relevant crash type addressed have been demonstrated in the last for the full year of data that we had available. So at this point, I'd be happy to take any questions on the roadway safety program, the information that you're seeing here. Any questions or comments?
Azim Muradovich, Maricopa County, Vice Chair. Margaret, thank you for this informative presentation. I'm a big believer in the after studies, and I support that thoroughly. I just wanted to ask a couple of questions about the data provided and basically to understand if there is a need by the agency applying those countermeasures is to have further after study requirement, basically to establish some sort of a solid understanding and then information about the validity of this, and then to continue on providing through countermeasure crash reduction factors. So what is the direction you guys are moving? with this?
Right, so let me just clarify that when you're seeing after here, this simply just a number of years after the improvement was installed. There was no after study done. However, once we have 5 years of data on any one of these, MAG will actually be conducting before and after studies. So we continue to be seen on that. So for instance, on the Gilbert project, so I think I mentioned in my presentation that we had 3 projects that had 2 years of data. So it won't really be until about 2026 that we'll have that 5 years for some of these projects. So once we have that in place, we will be conducting those. But to answer your question, as far as the local agencies and their requirements, they need to continue to reporting their safety data to us every year.
Hi, Margaret. This is Sam Taylor. I had a question. Is there any update on if this program will be continued in the future, or is it on hold as of right now?
Right, so a lot of that depends very heavily on, as you know, the Prop 400 extension is going to the public for a vote in November 2024. I do have Patrick Stone here. If he has anything, I don't necessarily think he has anything to add, but if there's any questions or anything he'd like to add to what I just mentioned regarding Prop 400 extension, he can certainly chime in and do so. But does that make sense, Sam? Okay.
And I fully agree with Sam that this is a great program. I do hope that it continues. Big advocate of it, so.
I would definitely like to see that as well, so. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing when we do have that 5 years of data afterwards, what these are gonna look like. There had been some questions even before we initiated this program as it relates to the flashing yellow arrow. So that will be some really good information that we can apply that'll be specific to this region that would be very helpful to local agencies as well. All right, I believe that's the last slide, Mohammed. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Margaret. Do any members have questions or comments? Anything else to add? And I have received 0 requests to speak cards for item number 6. Staff, have we received any online written comments for this agenda item?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. We have not received any written comments for this agenda item.
Thank you, Mohammed. Moving on to item number 7, reports by committee members. Item 7 is for information only. I would like to invite any members of the Transportation Safety Committee to report on ongoing safety-related project activities in their jurisdiction. We will begin with those here in person And then Mr. Shahid will use the roll sheet to request member reports from those attending virtually. So on the, yep.
Craig Martin with DPS. We have nothing at this time.
Jesse Torres with GOHS, nothing.
Michelle Beckley, no updates today from Tempe.
Nazim Radovich, Maricopa County, no update today. Thank you.
I just have, Tony Abbo, I just have one update to report on the Hawk that we will be constructing at Camelback on 53rd Avenue will be bid out. And we're hoping to open bids in the beginning of the first week of October. So we're looking at hopefully getting that one finally out to construction, hopefully starting in November, once City Council approves the award.
This is Sam Taylor with City of Scottsdale. Just a couple updates. So earlier this month, the Scottsdale City Council approved the acceptance of SS4A grant funding to establish a strategic transportation safety plan for the city. So we will beginning work on that pretty soon. We've also started working on multiple internal road safety assessments throughout the city to be completed over the next year, based upon new crash data and volume data that we have.
This is Stoughton from City of Avondale. City is going to turn the signal on at Avondale Boulevard and Lower Buckeye. We recently constructed a traffic signal at that location, so it's going to be turned on the October 6th or 7th. We also updated signal heads at Van Buren and Dysart and McDowell. These are the two intersections that showed up in the top 100 problematic intersections. So we changed the protected permissive to protected only to eliminate any left turn accident at those intersections.
Thank you, Raj. And I do apologize, Glenn. I know you're still in the room, so we'll give you an opportunity before we go to those that are virtual or that are calling in virtually. So go ahead, Glenn.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Glenn Robinson, Federal Highways, nothing to report.
Thank you, Glenn. Mohammed will be calling on each representative to see if they have any updates.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Mona Aglan as proxy for Kerry Wilcoxon from Arizona Department of Transportation.
Hi, we just have one update. We are putting together an updated schedule for the next HSIB call for projects. We have a draft. It's not final yet. We anticipate to issue the call sometimes beginning of January, but we will share more information as we have. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Raymond Huang from City of Chandler.
Yeah, we had just one update. MAC sponsored a RSA due to high crash in one of our intersections, Arizona and Warner. We just started the design for implementing some of the suggestions out of the RSA. The constructions will be sometime next year. And that's it.
Nick Russo from City of El Mirage.
Good afternoon, committee. El Mirage has no updates at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian Tarcott as proxy for Christopher Salas from Town of Lawrence.
No updates at this time.
Thank you. Aaron Pinkerton from Town of Gilbert.
No updates for the Town of Gilbert this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Kate Drunaski from City of Litchfield Park.
Oh, City of Litchfield Park has no updates for now.
Thank you. Kerry Osborne from City of Maricopa.
No updates for the city of Maricopa at this time.
Stefan Bach from City of Mesa.
Transportation Safety Committee. Mesa is wrapping up several mill and overlay projects to enhance safety on our arterials such as Rio Salado Parkway from 101 to Dobson, and especially Elliott Road west of Signal Butte Road. This project is nearing completion, putting hopefully an end to all the backups we experienced. Mesa also is going to construction on multiple intersection improvement projects such as Recker, McKellips, Brown Road and Power Road, and Broadway and Gilbert. The extension road separated bike lane project is scheduled for spring 2024 and will extend from Baseline Road to Main Street. Coordination with ADOT is necessary to establish a continuous safety corridor for bicyclists across US 60. As part of the Mesa downtown transformation effort, a DCR is being finalized for Center Street. Center Street is planned to be turned into a more bike and pedestrian friendly facility in an effort to build a complete street with on-street parking opportunities. Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak to you.
Thank you. Austin Kennedy as proxy for Brandon Forey from City of Peoria.
The city of Peoria has no updates today.
Thank you. Carl Langford from City of Phoenix.
Good morning, everyone. For City of Phoenix, we have just passed our year from implementing our road safety action plan or Vision Zero at the city. And during that time, we've done quite a number of things. We've had probably 14 new Hawks roughly installed during that time, 25 different signal modifications of one type or another, and several other things. We will ultimately be producing an annual report the beginning of this next year for our Vision Zero road safety action plan. Thank you.
Thank you. We do have a proxy for Tara Harmon from Pinal County Public Works. My apology, I do not have the name in front of me. If you can state your name and provide any updates that you may have.
Sure. My name is Steve Abraham. I'm with Pinal County Public Works. Our quick updates are we've kicked off our update to the Pinal County Strategic Transportation Safety Plan last month and getting the activities planned out for that. And we've also begun two RSAs on the far southern side of the county to look at roadway and pedestrian enhancements, and hopefully with the other with one of the two RSAs address some bicycle safety issues as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Jen Martin from Town of Queen Creek.
Queen Creek has no updates for the group today.
Thank you. Jonathan Fuch as proxy for Dana Oziani from City of Surprise.
I have no updates for today. Thank you.
Thank you. Aliza Ryan from University of Arizona.
Hello, no updates from the University of Arizona at this time.
Thank you. And Mr. Vice Chair, that concludes the report by the committee members attending virtually. Please let us know if we have missed anyone at this point.
Mr. Chair, if I could, I just wanted to give to what Mona said regarding the HSIP. I do have ADOT on schedule, Mona, to provide a presentation to this committee regarding that HSIP call for projects at the January committee meeting.
Okay, thank you. With that, we'll move on to item number 8, request for future agenda items. Item number 8 is for information only. Do any members of the Transportation Safety Committee have topics or issues of interest that they would like to have considered for discussion at future meetings? Please indicate by unmuting to be recognized. You can also send in your request to Margaret or myself via email. Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to item number 9. The next meeting date and place. The next meeting of the Transportation Safety Committee will be held at 10 a.m. on Tuesday, November 28th, 2023. Attendance in person is always encouraged in the MAG second floor Ironwood Room. Virtual options will be available. With that, I move to adjournment. This meeting will be adjourned at, I have 11:11 at 11:11 at in the morning, so AM. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.